Welcome back to the Conspiracy Outpost. This week we are diving into the paranoia of the CIA in the early period of the Cold War. Convinced that the communists discovered the method for mind control, the CIA began a secret project by the name of MK Ultra. I'm your host, Casey.
I'm Mike.
I'm the abominable Joe man.
I like that one. That was good.
I was trying to think of one that was on topic of this.
There we go. We got Matthew in there for us.
And I'm mad. I got a tiny dick. I don't care. Who knows it?
So, MK Ultra was an illegal human experiment project conducted by the CIA between the years of 1953 and 1973. It was put in place to develop procedures to identify drugs that could be used during interrogations to weaken people and force confessions through brainwashing and psychological torture. And the methods that they used were they would use LSD with or without the people's consent, electroshock, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, isolation, verbal abuse, and my favorite, sexual abuse. No, I'm just kidding. When I was actually so it's fucked up what they were doing, but they were there in the sexual abuse thing. It was Operation Midnight Climax, I believe is what it was called. Yeah, and
I'm going to be talking about that a little bit with my.
Okay, then I'll wait to bring it up.
When I watch
you'll understand why, but I just think it's funny because they were just drugging people and watching them fuck. So
yeah, dude, that shit made me laugh so fucking hard. I was watching videos of that. It's like Midnight Climax, and I was like dying. I was like, dude, there's no fucking way.
Well, go ahead and talk about it because I didn't look too much into that one. I just know that it has something to do with the part that I'm going to talk about.
So that was the guy that fucking stood behind the window of the hotels.
Yeah, that guy.
Dude, that shit was so funny to me. So fucking prostitutes. I don't have it fucking fancily put, but prostitutes also like would fucking lure dudes in and they would dose them with fucking
pure LSD, you know.
Yeah. And so what was the dude's name? That was the one that was doing the experiment thing.
That his name was
Jolly Ford or something like that.
Was that the guy, the one behind the glass? He had like a fucking setup where this shit made me laugh so fucking hard. I watched this on a History Channel thing. He fucking sat behind the glass and he, I guess, apparently usually had a bunch of alcohol and he would take like meticulous notes, like whatever. His notes were like meticulous, whatever. And he was sitting on a portable toilet so he didn't have to miss anything. He would just be sitting on the toilet and watching people fuck and taking notes. And it was like, damn well he was beating his dick in there. There's no way he was.
The part of that thing that I saw, it wasn't necessarily about the sex aspect of it, but they were running these tests on people with the LSD without their permission in clinics and shit.
Oh, was that the window, or did I mix up?
Well, no, they had a couple different clinics and places that they did this throughout the U.S., mostly in New York and San Francisco.
Well, he didn't look at the motel ones. Maybe it was behind the window at a clinic. I don't know.
Because the CIA did set up several brothels with like throughout San Francisco, and they would choose the people who would choose people, dose them with LSD, but they were paying the hookers to take them to these guys' room. I don't know if they were drugging the hookers too. I wonder if they were doing that.
What I read was that they would drug the hookers, but the hookers a lot of the time were getting LSD for doing this.
That shit is so fucking hilarious, though. Just a guy sitting on a portable toilet behind a window, drinking, pissing, and taking notes. Like, just.
I mean, he could have been shitting too.
Yeah, no, and you just hear like a plop noise because it's not completely soundproof. I was thinking that's creepy as fuck because it was showing like this thing, the guy turning off the lights, it's like pitch black. It's like, dude, I couldn't do that unless I was drinking. And then the guy in the video was like, and he would just have like basically a shitload of alcohol that he'd just be sipping on. Like, okay, see that I can get behind. Maybe not taking a shit while watching people fuck. But you just hear like people all making out, and you hear the fucking plop noise in the toilet.
Don't knock it till you try it, bro.
It's like, what was that? Relax, baby. That's just the stuff I gave you. Kicking.
These are thin walls around here. No,
You just hear a, oh fuck! It must be the neighbors.
You hear it through the wall. It just turns into that moment for Friday. It's like someone over here taking a shit.
You hear him grunting faintly. It's like, is there ghosts? Oh fuck!
Yeah, so they would not only was that guy sitting there behind the thing watching, but they would video the sessions and watch them later for studying. And then
the tape
if
recorder.
once the people found out, obviously they're gonna know that they were drugged and shit. They would threaten them to
expose them for the sex.
They would threaten them. It's like, basically expose them, or they'd be like, if you say anything, we'll just drug you again and make your trip last a lot longer. And then they would get heroin addicts too, but they were just telling the heroin addicts like, if you take this LSD, we'll get you more heroin.
Well, shit, I'll do anything for more H. Dude, how funny would that be? It's like, hey, you guys been recording me. Don't tell anybody. I'll tell everybody you fucked somebody with a wolf pussy. Taking it back to the Friday thing. Day-Day's characters. Yeah. It's just so funny.
I wonder if they're because like homosexuality was not a thing. Well, it wasn't a big thing back then. It was looked down upon. And I wonder if they were making them sleep with like same-sex people.
Or catching gay people that were still in the closet.
Happening in San Francisco, where a lot of these tests were being done.
Yeah, they could have easily probably back with people in the closet and didn't want it ruin their fucking reputation and shit, and they're just like, hey, tell everybody you fucked this dude. Tell everybody that you were fucking doing rails and getting railed in this motel. If you don't just be cool with what we're doing here. Which, I mean, and all that one out of all these experiments seems the least fucked up, aside from like forcing, other than the side effects, because you can go into a full on fucking like crazy panic attack doing fucking LSD. Like the trips don't always fucking go well. But like I was watching, I don't know if it was the same video or a different one, but those things could backfire like really bad. So
my cousin cried herself on
LSD,
taking a bunch of acid.
Yeah, see, you got to be careful with shit like that. And then I've also heard this
she's all weird and
if you have dormant fucking schizophrenia shit, it could trigger schizophrenia and cause you to have it afterwards. Like I've seen that.
Yeah, meth does the same thing.
Yeah, so I mean,
does LSD store in your fat cells too?
Yep.
Yeah, so it can be released anytime too. Like you can just be having a normal fucking day, and then one day
you're seeing two guys
driving down the freeway, and then all of a sudden there's a fucking Godzilla chasing after you.
Godzilla with a guy in a thong riding him, just going, Godzilla.
Have you guys ever seen that movie SLC Punk?
Mm-mm.
I meant to say Gojira, because or what's his name?
Gojira.
Gojira is his actual name, and what came out sounded like a racist Japanese guy trying to say Godzilla.
See, the only Gojira that I care about is the band. It's a good band, but that movie SLC Punk, Matthew Lillard's in it, and who does the voice of Shaggy now. It was also in the Spooky Island and Scream and stuff. But at the beginning of it, they talk about this character who used to be their acid dealer and shit like that. And then some cops ran after him, and he had a bag of acid in his pocket that he just shoved into his pocket, and he didn't close the bag. As the cops were running through him, he cut through the high school field, and the sprinklers turned on. And so all that acid absorbed into him.
Oh, yeah.
And it fried him.
Yeah, that shit will absorb into your fucking skin.
Yeah, if you go to Burning Man, or at least like I don't know how Burning Man is now. It's not as free as it once was, but there'd be people with water sprayers with acid.
Oh yeah, and you know what? That's actually like on topic about this. That whole fucking LSD thing backfired because LSD doesn't help fucking manipulate minds. It literally makes you question authority and everything. Like
well, it opens your mind. So with the right direction.
Yeah, that's true. But that's why I was watching these videos. They figured out that when doing it through that way was like a waste of time. Like LSD, like they were thinking the LSD frees it to the point where in order to control them, you have to push out who they used to be. That you could do that through that, and then like push other shit. But that was, I think, when they were trying all the other shit too, like the fucking putting people into insulin like comas and fucking
Yeah.
shock therapy and all that crap. I don't mean to jump around a lot.
I feel like torture would probably work better than LSD.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think that is that how that order went? Did they switch from LSD and start doing other methods, or were they just trying all that simultaneously?
It was all together. They had so many. They had so many different, like, they had colleges, they had scientific research centers. They were all under MK Ultra. They were all doing all their own separate studies and shit. Before we get into the origins of MK Ultra, I want to talk about Project Artichoke, which was MK Ultra's predecessor, and this project came to light August 20th, 1951, and is operated by the CIA's Office of Scientific Intelligence. And this project was the primary goal of Artichoke was to determine whether a person could involuntarily made to perform an act of attempted assassination. And the project also studied the effect of hypnosis, force addiction, and withdrawals from morphine and other chemicals, including LSD, to produce amnesia and other vulnerable states in subjects.
It was their first attempt at making a Manchurian Candidate.
I heard you talking about Steven Kinzer before I got on the phone. What were you going to say about him?
Oh, I was trying to remember his fucking name. I was just watching him doing interviews about the MK Ultra stuff and stuff about how they the whole thing back then. They were like, well, we need to get on this because Russia's already got it, or other people have already done like mind control, because they couldn't figure out shit like in like the Korean War, how like people would admit to war crimes on America or something. And people not wanting to come back to America, they want to stay in a communist country, like soldiers and shit, staying in the country, saying they don't want to come home. It's like, well, why? Why not? They must be under like mind control or something.
They were, for sure.
Yeah, probably were.
Or
that's the guy that I tried getting onto the podcast, but he didn't email me back. So
yeah, and he's done a lot of fucking interviews on stuff. He's written like a lot of books.
Steven Kinzer. So he wrote the book Prisoner in Chief.
Yeah, he's got like 10 books out. He was saying how he likes to look to look behind the facade is what he's saying in one thing, because there's all these different there's all this information out about like MK Ultra and shit, and everything that he does like he researches. And he likes to get like behind all that and all the fake shit, all the stuff that spreads around, because there's a lot of conspiracy stuff that revolves around the actual events that happen. And he likes to shed light on the actual things. I sent it. I'm losing my voice. I sent it a short that he did on YouTube in a group where he's just talking about, he definitely believes that they're still doing these researches now, especially with everything that we know. And he said that in the short, he says that I believe he said Aristotle's right or something, that the mind and body are connected, that everything is in there in your brain, the soul, the everything, like it's all connected like a network. I'm butchering what he said because I'm not super smart, but
take a drink of something. Wet that whistle of yours.
I'm getting sick. I don't know, because my kids are losing their voices. I figured it's gonna be a matter of time that I started to too. But maybe I just need something to drink. Let me power through this thing. He said, yeah, he said they're for sure still doing it. Like, it's sick to think of, but they're for sure still like doing these experiments that he believes.
Yeah, definitely. So, in his book, he says that the CIA was this CIA project was a continuation work that began in World War II in Japanese facilities and Nazi concentration camps. And obviously their goal was to control their minds. And so when the CIA wanted to do this, obviously they recruited their scientists through the Operation Paperclip. When was it Paperclip? Paperclip.
Nazi
Yeah,
scientists. Yeah.
yeah, where they were recruiting all the Nazi scientists. So he says that the Nazi doctors conducted extensive experiments with mescaline at the Danchu concentration camp, and the CIA was interested in figuring out whether mescaline could be the key to mind control. That was one of their biggest avenues in the investigation. They also hired Nazi doctors who obviously were working side by side with them during this project. And they obviously they were doing it on human subjects and animals as well. But the Nazi scientists were brought to Fort Derrick in Maryland to instruct the CIA of the uses of sarin gas as well. And the Soviet Union motivated, this project because the United States was scared of them. Scared of the USSR. Let's see. I got some quotes from Stephen Kenzer. Give me one sec. I gotta scroll back down to it. So he is quoted saying that they wanted a way to create to seize control of people's minds and realize there was a two-part process. First, you had to blast away the existing mind. Second, you had to find a way to insert a new mind in the resulting void. They didn't get too far on part number 2, but did a lot of work on number 1.
Yeah, see that's what I was talking about earlier. They thought they can just they can just push everything out of the mind to insert whatever. I found some of that shit hilarious, only because one of them, all the fucking stuff with the insulin, the insulin shit, putting people in the fucking comas, where they would put the tape recorders under their pillows and shit. One of I was okay, so I was listening to watching the daughters of victims, and one of them was they said that they put a tape recorder under their dad's bed or pillow that just kept replaying "Your mother hates you, your mother hates you" over and over again. I don't remember if that was the one that was 36 days straight. One of them, wow. They were in a coma with a voice playing to them from the psychiatrist for 36 days straight, or 36 hours straight. Might have been 36 hours. I'm going to take that back. I think they said days. I don't know.
Would, like, if you're aware of what's going on while you're in a coma, that would suck.
Yeah. It was 36 something.
It's like, if someone changed the goddamn channel, what the fuck?
The shit was crazy. There was a couple different ones. There was recordings of one of the guys, because they would all go in there for symptoms, like of stuff. It's like, oh, you have... I can't remember what it was, but one of them went in there and they said, oh yeah, that's actually that's all in your head. It's not a real whatever. You need to come to the psych ward. But it's like, it's not like, and we know that nowadays it is a physical disorder of the body. I forget what it was, but they were just bullshitting people and telling them, yeah, you need to come here. One person went in there because they had asthma. They're like, yeah, we can cure that. We have medication for it. And they fucking brought him in there and they fucking filled him up with shit, put him in a coma. I forget which one it was, because there's a couple of different daughters of the survivors of that place. But one of them said that it was recorded that he told the psychiatrist. I don't know. I should have got his name too. But they told him that his youngest daughter was like the twinkle of his eye, or whatever. How's that saying go? The whatever of my eye. Apple of my eye. I don't know the saying. Got a buzz right now. Anyways, so he went in there, and that was what he said, like talking about his family. When he came out, he couldn't remember his family. Like, he was just there. Like, everything was weird, and he was beating the daughter that he said was like his world. He was always so nice to her. When he got out of that hospital, he was beating the fuck out of her constantly. Yeah, so he was just...
That's not funny. It's just...
Yeah, and yeah, it went from this loving father that she had that they missed so much, and he came back, and it was like he was a different person, and he was violent, abusive.
I mean, if he
Um,
was like abused during that time, he might have just been like broken.
Yeah,
Like,
because
out.
I don't know if it was the same guy or if I'm mixing the two guys, but it might have been the same guy or a different one. Came home like completely different person, couldn't recognize his family at all, didn't know who anybody was. Yeah, just
Who
burnt
are
out.
you people?
What is going on? His kids are like, Daddy, what the fuck? He's like freaking out. Picks
I
up
was
the
just
smallest
thinking,
one
like,
and
when
throws him.
Patrick goes home and there's the eyes underneath the fucking his house, the boulder. He goes,
Oh yeah,
who are you people?
But I think I'm mixing multiple stories. But yeah, I mean, or they were the same story. But yeah, they had a couple different people. One of them being a woman that went in when she was like a kid, and then she ended up coming out and having a lot of issues since she was like 16. Maybe she was 16 when she got out. But she was, she had a lot of fucking issues to this like day, all the way fucking moving forward, or to the end of her life. I don't know if she's still alive. They had recordings of her. They didn't show her actual face. They just had recordings of her, because a lot of these they try to form like lawsuits and shit.
Yeah, even if they didn't, even if they weren't successful in being able to wipe someone's mind or control someone's mind or whatever, they could have still fucked up someone's mind, fucked up their psyche. You know, they're trying to control it. That's running tests to do that is a lot different from running tests to just fuck someone up. There's plenty of parents out there who fuck up their kids every day, and they don't even mean to do it.
That's why I was reading all that fucking shit. They were like, trying to control them to do crazy shit, like fucking acts of terrorism and everything else.
Yeah.
Just crazy fucking shit. They said that one of the victims, possibly or for sure, I don't remember what it said, but what's that criminal? Whatever, Whitey
Ford?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was him or
Whitey Bulger?
It might have been Whitey Bulger.
Hold on.
I think. Maybe. I'm not sure. One
Whitey
of them
Ford, I think, is a fucking album by Everlast.
Oh.
Hold on. But I think it's Whitey Bulger.
Is it? Yeah. It probably is.
Did Johnny Depp play him?
Oh, I don't know. He did. Yeah, Whitey Bulger's MK Ultra experiments. Disturbing true story.
Yeah. Dude, there's a couple different criminals that they think, like, I'm going to be going over Manson, but I don't know if you guys looked up Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Yeah, it was rumored that he was part of it too. Which he was he was a high functioning fucking like genius, or what? He was a fucking genius, man. That guy.
From this,
he just did horrible things.
From this, allthat'sinteresting.com says that one of the jurors who helped convict Boston crime boss James Whitey Bulger in 2013 has now said that she regrets that choice after learning that he was an unwitting participant in a secret CIA experiment involving LSD during the Cold War.
Fuck.
That's from allthat'sinteresting.com.
When did the movie The Manchurian Candidate come out? Like, was this part of the reason they wanted to try to make Assassins? Because it worked in a movie and they're like, huh.
I don't know, but is this what Men Who Stare at Goats is based off of? You guys ever seen that movie?
I watched it a long time ago because Ewan McGregor was in it, but
yeah, so they fucking
I have not seen it since that came out.
LSD was involved, but actually this is kind of more into
they were trying to do like
they were doing telepathy and shit. That's what it was. Wasn't Kevin Spacey in that movie? Or no?
George Clooney was.
Maybe that's who I'm fucking
Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I've not seen that since it like came out.
Yeah, me either. I just remember the LSD thing, but after I fucking said it, I remember the telepathy part. So that plays more into the fucking the Mantuck or whatever the fuck it's called.
They was trying to make those X-Mans.
X-Men.
Then they're X-Men.
Men Who Stare at Goats. Is that how I said that? Yeah, Kevin Spacey was in it. He was the bad guy. He's the one that goes because I think it was George Clooney was like, yeah, I'm going to die or whatever. Because Kevin Spacey came up and fucking booped him on the forehead and said like, whatever. Like, yeah, I'm going to die soon. Because it was like a curse thing. But it was like hella years after he did it. Like, it was just like a bullshit fucking thing.
I'm gonna have to look that up and watch it.
Yeah, that I remember that part being hella funny because they're like talking like pretty sure it's Kevin Spacey. Like he was like, I just remember it seemed like he was like some big ass fucking piece of shit, but he just like
Well,
does something
there's
to
like
his forehead or something. It was like you're cursed now or some shit.
I remember when I watched it, I didn't like it, but there's a lot of movies that I watched when I was younger and I didn't like, and I've watched it again as an adult, and I do like it.
I feel like I was 18 when I watched that, so that's a very long time ago. To fucking I'd definitely give it a rewatch. I didn't know Stephen Lang was in that.
Like what, 12 years ago?
Yeah, and it came out in 2009.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
that was my freshman year of high school.
that was my junior year. Maybe I wasn't 18. Maybe I was 17. No, because I didn't watch this when it first came. I watched it when it went to DVD after it was on DVD, and we torrented it.
Yeah, I think I watched it when I was 15.
Yeah, I think
So
I watched
that
a
was
year or two after it came out.
long fucking time ago. But
Yeah,
back
that totally spiraled out. My bad.
Oh no, you're good.
It was still on topic because it was about a CIA program.
Yeah, that's true. That actually, I think that one it's because it takes place during fucking. Did that one take place during like after the Vietnam War or something?
I don't know.
I don't remember. It's definitely government experiment shit. All right, Casey, you gonna lay some more facts on us here?
Yeah, so the project leader was Sudney. I don't know how to say his last name. It's
Hold on. I have
Gottlieb.
I have it written down somewhere. Let me.
Gottlieb. Gottlieb.
Yeah, Gottlieb.
Yeah.
I have it written down in my note.
Call him the everlasting gobble stopper.
The everlasting gobblestopper was in charge of the project by order of the CIA director Alan Dulles, and he was appointed April 13, 1953. And we know this because the U.S. was afraid of him, but there was a sub-project 54 that was a Navy's top secret project, and it was the Perfect Concussion Program, and it was supposed to use sub-oral frequency to blast a sub-oral frequency blast to erase the memory, and but they said the program was never carried out officially. But
sub-oral frequency.
Yeah. So one of the people, I don't know if you have anything written down about him, but one of the people I'm going to be talking about in 2012, they found direct correspondence to him. He was a psychiatrist that was involved in MK Ultra. They found documents of Sydney and him talking. As a guy named his nickname was Jolly, but it was Dr. Louis Jolyon, and they called him Dr. Jolly West. And he was a psychiatrist. But I'm going to get into him more later. I just didn't know whether you had anything on him.
I don't know. I'd have to.
But yeah, in 2012, a paper trail came out linking that specific psychiatrist doctor to MK Ultra through Sidney Gottlieb.
Crazy.
Yeah, this doctor that I'm talking about is actually the psychiatrist who talked to Jack Ruby.
Oh shit.
Yeah, when Jack Ruby, before he was said to be declared insane, the person who declared him insane in prison was this guy.
Damn.
Yeah, this guy went in there like without cameras and stuff. He went in there, talked to the guy, came out and said, "Yeah, he's crazy." And then like apparently that guy, his mental health was never the same after Jack Ruby's.
Maybe it was all government.
So like the conspiracy with that one is this guy who was involved in MK Ultra went in there and fucking covered that shit up and just like fucked with his head while he was there.
Damn.
Oh, I forgot that guy that sat on the fucking crapper. I forget. God damn it. Never mind. The guy that sat on the portable crapper. I can't remember what it was. He worked for something else, but it wasn't known that he was working for the CIA too at the same time. I just can't remember what his other job was or his name. So he would.
But yeah, the notes that I have, the direct thing that it said was the attending doctor who the guy attending Jack Ruby while he was in prison, which is Dr. Jolly West, was the one who was there when he severed his psychotic break in the Dallas jail cell.
Interesting.
Isn't it? Like, it is, man.
It's crazy. Yeah, I didn't see anything about Jack Ruby and all that shit. I wish I would have. Not Matthew, but if Joseph would have went down that rabbit hole, we'd have had 45 minutes of him talking about Jack Ruby.
Dude, I almost spiraled out into
And I
that.
would have. See, if I would have took notes.
Because this guy that I'm going to be talking about who went into the Manson stuff, he thinks that the Manson thing, MK Ultra, and JFK all connected.
It says the men who stare at goats is supposed to be like an MK Ultra experiment. I don't know. That's what this video. I'm just trying to find that scene of men who stare at goats, but it says MK Ultra experiment as told by the men who stare at goats. So apparently that was their version of it, but for psychic powers.
Yeah, I guess.
So I'm gonna skip a little ahead because not like skip a little ahead, just my notes just a little out of order, but I'm just gonna say this because you kind of brought up them destroying some records. In 1973, most of the records were destroyed by the order of CIA Director Richard Helms, and there were more than 150 sub projects that were all funded and working in conjunction with MK Ultra.
Well, yeah, we have already brought up 2.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, it's not really. It's kind of skipping ahead just towards like the end of the project, but it's not really because you guys were already bringing up some stuff about it. I just wanted to. I don't know if we really want to get into like what they were trying to do with not like what they were trying to do, but like the substances that they were using. They were trying to promote illogical thinking and impulsiveness to the point where the person who's under the drugs would be discredited in public. They wanted to increase the efficiency of what is this, meditation? I don't know what that is. And perception.
Well, like I know like one of the major things they were trying to do was they wanted to be able to create a either assassin or a courier who would go and do the thing that the government wanted them to do, and then once they were done with that thing, they wouldn't remember it.
Yeah, like sleeper agents and shit.
Yeah.
The Winter Soldier.
So like they thought that was a good way to like for couriers especially, because then it's like once the job's done they have no information, or you know.
Yeah.
They just wanted controllable zombies essentially. Which like the classic zombie is that a mind controlled person.
Oh really?
Yeah, the original zombie before it became the Night of the Living Dead style zombie, that's what it was someone like pretty much under mind control.
Guys, I hate to bring this up again, but I was wrong again. The Men Who Stare at Goats, the thing is, it was based off of the ideas of MK Ultra, and the guy believed that through those experiments he could heighten his own psychic abilities. Through some shit like that. That's not MK Ultra. It was based off of the studies of that in the movie, and they believed like through the same kind of like studies and trials they can create like psychic soldiers. And yes, it was something they brought up the president being a big Star Wars fan, because they do say Jedi and shit in the fucking movie, like Jedi.
I know,
like,
and Ewan McGregor's in it.
Yeah. Makes it even funnier.
Obi-Wan.
I gotta watch this movie again. Yeah. This motherfucker, I think it's Kevin. Is that Kevin
I'll probably watch it tonight once we're done with.
I think that is Kevin Spacey. They're fucking dosing their water with LSD and giving it to the soldiers. This is definitely a movie you gotta fucking rewatch.
Yeah. So Casey,
with an adult perspective. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. They wanted to create a substance that would counteract the intoxicating effects of alcohol, and also produce intoxicating effects of alcohol. They wanted to produce signs and symptoms of recognized diseases in a reversible way, so they can use it for their own personal gains. They wanted to render hypnosis into people to make it easier. They wanted the ability of individuals to withstand uh, torture, coercion. I can't fucking say that word. How do you say that when you're trying to convince someone, like you're someone didn't do something, but you're convincing them that they did do it? Coercing.
Oh,
Yeah.
coercion?
Yeah, I couldn't say the word. I was tripping over it. And during interrogations, they wanted to produce amnesia for events preceding uh, after they were, administered it. They wanted physical methods of producing shock and confusion over extended periods of time that were capable of superfluous use. Substance. They wanted to produce physical disablement, such as paralysis of the legs, acute anemia. They wanted to produce pure euphoria with no subsequent letdowns. They wanted to alter
would be nice.
personality, right? They wanted to alter personality structure in such a way the tendency of the recipient to become dependent upon another person is enhanced. They wanted to cause mental confusion of such type of individual under the influence will find it difficult to maintain the fabrication under questioning. They wanted to lower the ambition of the general working efficiency of men when administered under undetectable amounts. They wanted to promote weakness or distortion of the eyesight or hearing, or the hearing, preferably without permanent effects. They wanted to create a knockout pill that could be administered in drinks, food, cigarettes, and aerosol.
It's called Rooflin.
Yeah, which will be safe to use and provide the maximum amount of amnesia and be subtle enough for agents.
Okay. Did the CIA create roofies? Is that what I'm hearing, possibly?
Yeah, definitely. And then they wanted to purposely administer. They wanted a material that could be purposely administered by the above routes in which very small amounts will make it possible for a person to perform a physical activity. So that's like all the shit that they were trying to do during this project. And then, yeah, so that's just all. That was just a quick load. Those were all just copied and pasted. So if I was tripping over shit, it's because I wasn't gonna fucking sum up those 15 points that they had.
Like, here's the thing that I don't really understand all that much is like they're trying to do this when they already had access to Professor Xavier. Like, he worked for the government at that time.
So other projects that spun off of when they officially shut down MK Ultra, but the public obviously didn't know about this because it wasn't declassified until 2001. They had MK Search, which was in 1964, and that was the continuation of MK Ultra. And this program was divided into two separate projects: MK Often and MK Chickwit. And MK Often was a covert U.S. Department of Defense program developed in conjunction with the CIA in the 60s. And the goal of Often was to test the behavioral and toxicological effects of certain drugs on animals and humans. Testing of these drugs was done on animals, prisoners at the Holmberg prison in Philadelphia, and the military personnel at Edgewood.
I bet that's fucking wild to see like a dog on LSD.
Oh, it'd probably be scary as fuck, man. What if that dog was having a bad trip? We're freaking out, man. I wouldn't go near that shit. And then MK Chickwit was a covert program, another U.S. Department of Defense in conjunction with the CIA. And the goal of this program was to identify a new drug developed in Europe and Asia and to obtain information and samples of the drug. And, I forgot to say this earlier. MK Ultra, back in the day, they spent $10 million doing their research, and adjusted for inflation, that's $114,273,033 in today's money.
So what you're telling me is the government has always had a spending problem?
Yeah, that's why we're in debt.
Yeah.
There was some more projects that spun off of MK Ultra. There was Project Chatter, which is a U.S. Navy program beginning in the fall of 1947, focusing on maybe this came actually before, focusing on the identification of testing drugs and interrogations and recruitment of agents. Their search included a laboratory. In their search, fuck, dude. Wrote my notes all wrong. They basically
yesterday.
In their search of their testing and their laboratory experiments, they used both animal and human subjects. And we already talked about paperclip was like a precursor to any of this because that's where they got all their scientists to do all this unethical shit. But Project Bluebird was also mentioned inside the declassified CIA documents of because Bluebird was the purpose was to study the mind control and interrogation behavior and modifications to whatever topic that they wanted to twist to their need. And then the reason it's funny that the CIA, it's fucked up too, because the whole war on drugs thing is all literally because the CIA brought all those drugs to the United States and dispersed them. But in 1953, the CIA purchased 10 kilos, the world's amount of LSD, and from Santos Labs in Switzerland. And then they started administering the LSD to mental patients, prisoners, drug addicts, and prostitutes. And a quote from an officer said they wanted to use people who could not fight back. Basically, like they had no choice. It's like, you're taking this, so you don't got to
desperate.
In one case, they administered LSD to a mental patient in Kentucky for 174 consecutive days. They also administered LSD to CIA employees, military personnel, doctors, and other government agents and members of the general public to study their reaction. The aim was to find drugs that would bring out deep confessions or wipe the subject's mind clean and program them as a robot agent. And then there was military personnel who received LSD and were also threatened with court martials if they told anyone about the experiments. And a lot of these people were drugged without consent.
God damn. That's fucked, man. I mean, some of those people, like that mental patient was probably enjoying his 127 days.
Dude, if he was already crazy, like, I don't know, they didn't say what his mental, like, why he was locked up in that
I mean, at
facility.
that point in time, it really could have been anything. He could have been a communist.
Yeah.
That could have been why he was locked up.
But could you imagine if he was just already like a schizophrenic and then they just start dosing him up with all this LSD for 174 days straight? Man, it would have been... That guy would have been tripping.
When you brought up the roofie thing earlier, I was looking it up. Apparently, it was made in Roche, which is like a Swiss multinational fucking.
Where they were making the LSD, probably. Yeah, we were getting the LSD from the Swiss, so.
Apparently, I forget the actual name of the fucking thing, but because I already closed it out. But it was used as like an anesthetic thing, whatever, put people to sleep. And then when they figured out it was being used for date rape and shit, they lowered the doses, like the dosage of it, because it would kill people. Apparently, it has the
I mean, that's like
a paradox. I don't know the word they use. It had an opposite effect on some people, that giving them high anxiety and fucking other shit instead of putting them to sleep. Just like doing the exact opposite, making them go fucking nuts. Can you imagine that somebody's trying to like roofie a girl and she just fucking starts jumping around and fucking slapping people and jumping through the windows, just like breaking out the windows. Somebody give me bath salt. No, it's fucked up. Day rape's fucked up. It's used for suicide apparently too.
Well, a lot of drugs are.
Yeah.
In the 1950s, Europe, Asia, Japan, Germany, the Philippines, these were all areas that were in America's control. And the CIA created secret detention centers so that the U.S. can avoid criminal prosecution. And the CIA captured people suspected of being enemy agents and other people deemed expendable to undertake various types of torture and human experimentation on them. The prisoners were interrogated while being administered psychoactive drugs, electroshock, and subject to extreme temperature, sensory isolation, and in order to develop a better understanding on how to destroy and control the humans' minds. Fucking sick ass people, man.
Dude, that's fucked, man. I'm fine with them giving drugs to people. That's fine. But torture? Come on now. No.
So, in
Kidding. Don't give drugs to people when they don't know it. If people want drugs, then give them drugs.
if you do that, you'll get in trouble and you'll get thrown under the Nuremberg
Nuremberg trials.
yeah, that whole shit. That's because that's what they were getting in trouble. Well, the CIA now obviously didn't get in trouble for shit, but that's what the German scientists were all getting tried under that, and
I guess it
became a
pays to be
thing.
the winner.
You're not allowed to administer drugs to people without their written consent, and you have to have two parties on each side that are not involved in the experiment to witness the person giving the consent to do said experiment.
You're not molesting them.
Yeah, to make sure everything's consensual.
A neutral party.
Yeah, but on each side,
the neutral party likes to party, and you're in trouble.
Where is?
Hey, can I get some of that too?
Somewhere, but
like you're just supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Oh, who was it?
Now give me the drugs.
I can't remember who it was. See, I should have fucking wrote this shit down. One of the people involved in a shit used LSD heavily themselves.
Nice.
I can't remember who it was. I don't know if it was the person that was the person who introduced the idea of using LSD. But apparently they were a frequent user of it themselves. I don't know if it was the same guy fucking taking notes.
This guy's just like the fucking Bill Hader's character at the beginning of fucking Pineapple Express.
Oh yeah.
This
fuck
shit
you,
is the
fuck
bee's
you.
knees. The bee's knees.
Who the fuck are you? Hey, who's
why are we down in this hole? Why aren't we outside in the sunshine? Hey, a guy comes in with that fucking old ass scuba suit on,
hazmat suit,
and he was like, "Whoa, the fuck is this?" That would have scared the shit out of me if I was high as shit. What was it, item 43 or something they were calling it?
Yeah, something like that.
He's like, whatever he's fucking doing, the fucking.
Yeah.
In 1973, during a government-wide panic caused by... Yeah.
That's got to be the shortened term for it for now on. The Gover-wise.
The government-wise... fuck, see, now I'm just
God
fucking
damn it,
up.
Joe.
It caused a big old panic was caused by Watergate, and director Richard Helms ordered all the MK Ultra files to be God damn, man, I can't talk today. MK Ultra files to be destroyed. About 20,000 documents survived the destruction because they were stored in a financial records building and weren't discovered until 1977. And after retiring in 1972, how do you say that guy's last name? Like Galibi, or how'd you say it? Sydney
Gottlieb
dismissed his entire effort in the CIA's MK Ultra program as useless. The files discovered in 1977 containing 700 pages of new information show that the experiments have continued until Galibi ordered the program to be halted in July 10th of 1972. So even after they said that they weren't doing it no more, they were still doing that shit.
That sounds like the government.
Yeah, it definitely does. And now I just have a bunch of I got one notable death was Frank Olson. He was a United States Army biochemist and a biological weapons researcher, and he was given LSD without his knowledge or consent in November 1953 as part of the experiment. He died from falling from a 13-story window a week later, and a CIA doctor assigned to monitor Olson claimed to have been asleep in another bed in New York City hotel when Olson fell to his death. In 1953, Olson's death was said it was a suicide, and the CIA's own internal investigation concluded that the head of MK Ultra's CIA chemist Sidney had conducted the LSD experiment with Olson's prior knowledge, although neither Olson nor the other men taking part in the experiment were informed as to the exact nature of the drug until some 20 minutes after they ingested it. And the report further suggests that Sidney was nonetheless due to be reprimanded as he failed to take into account that Olson had already he was already diagnosed with suicidal tendencies, which might have been exacerbated.
Exacerbated.
Yes, by LSD. I don't know why I'm tripping over my words so much. But
Dude, when I go to read my shit, I'm probably going to do the same thing.
the Olson family disputes the official version of the events. They maintain that Frank Olson was murdered because in the aftermath of his LSD experiment, he had become a security risk who might divulge state secrets associated with highly classified CIA programs about many of which he had direct personal knowledge. A few days before his death, Frank Olson quit his position as acting chief of the Special Operations Division at Derrick, Maryland, Fort Derrick, because of a severe morale crisis concerning the nature of his biological weapons research. Among Olson's concerns were developed the assassination materials used by the CIA, the CIA's use of biological warfare materials in covert operations, and experimentation with biological weapons in populated areas. And then later, forensic evidence concluded that the official versions of the events when Olson's body was exhumed in 1994, there was cranial injuries indicated that Olson had been knocked unconscious before he exited the window. The medical examiner termed Olson's death a homicide. In 1975, Olson's family received a $750,000 settlement from the U.S. government and formal apologies from President General Ford and CIA Director William Colby, although their apologies were limited to informed consent issues concerning the ingestion of his LSD.
They forgot to get signatures.
Sorry. It's like that South Park when BP keeps spilling the oil and the guy's like, sorry. They later tried to sue again, but the judge basically threw it out because they accepted the $750,000 settlement.
So you said
settle and be like, never mind.
You said all that shit about Olson, but what about the Olson twins?
And they used his DNA from his goop on the sidewalk to create those Olson twins.
Goop.
Let's see. Some famous subjects. American poet Allen Ginsberg. He first took LSD as an experiment on Stanford's University campus where he could listen to the records of his choice. And he said the experience resulted in a slight paranoia that hung on all my acid experience throughout the mid-1960s until I learned from new meditation how to disperse that. He became outspoken advocate for psychedelics in the 1960s, and after hearing suspicions that the experiment was CIA funded, he wrote, "I am Allen Ginsberg, the product of a CIA's lamentable, ill-advised, or triumphantly successful experiments in mind control."
Huh.
So that's what spawned the whole fucking psychedelic movement, right? It was all the fucking...
Probably.
I thought I heard that it did the exact opposite of what they wanted.
Yeah.
The whole fucking... Yeah. And also that... Yeah, it was Stephen Kinzer. Kinzer?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was saying it was like, a failed experiment that lasted for 10 years.
20 years.
Was it 20? Oh,
yeah.
He said 10 in that fucking video.
1953 to 1973 is when it officially stopped, supposedly. Like on record. Boston mobster James Whitey Burglar, is that the guy you guys are talking about? Bugler?
Yeah.
Bulger. He said he was subjected to weekly injections of LSD and testing while in prison in Atlanta in 1957. I'm going to skip Ted Kanaski, because that's what you're talking about, right?
No, I'm
No?
talking about
Uh-oh.
Manson. You can talk about Ted Kaczynski.
Kaczynski, sorry. He was a American domestic terror, known as the Unabomber, and he was said to be subject of voluntary psychological study alleged by some sources have been part of MK Ultra. As a sophomore at Harvard, Kaczynski participated in a study described by author Alston Chase as a purposely brutalizing psychological experiment that led by Harvard psychologist Henry Murray. In total, Kaczynski spent 200 hours as part of the study.
Yeah. So Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, he sent bombs to like politicians.
Yeah, and this shit was
shit.
crazy. Didn't he used to like add random wires too? Or
Yeah,
something?
like he would make them to
throw
where
you
it'd be
off?
really hard to like undo. Like I don't know a lot off the top of my head, but I have watched a couple documentaries on him like a long time ago. That guy was a fucking genius. A little nuts, you know. He's sending.
Did that motherfucker live in like a shed in the fucking woods?
Yeah, he was antisocial.
There was also Lawrence Teeter. His attorney believed that he was operating under MK Ultra mind control techniques when he assassinated Robert F. Kennedy.
Oh, that was the assassination in the hotel kitchen, huh?
Oh, so I was trying to figure out what the fuck he was saying. He said it took them 10 years. It was 10 years of them combining different fucking drugs and everything, trying to find a fucking thing.
Robert Hunter, he was an American lyricist. Fuck, man. He was a songwriter and translator and poet, and he's best known for his association with Jerry Garcia and the Grateful Dead, along with Ken. Is it Casey? Kesey? I think so. Hunter's
name.
Well, my name is spelled Casey. I never seen Casey spelled like that, so that's why it threw me off. Hunter is said to is said to be an early volunteer of a MK Ultra test. Did I already say this guy?
I don't know.
No. So this happened at Stanford as well. He was paid to take LSD, cytosine, and mescaline, and then report his experiences on these. Report on their experiences, and these experiences were creatively formative to Hunter. He said, he said, sit back and picture yourself swooping up a shell of purple with foam crest of crystal drops, soft night as they fall into the sea of morning, creep very softly mist, and then sword of a cascade tinkly bell like must I take your hand ever so slowly type, and then conglomerate suddenly to a pearl of silver, vibrant, uncomprehendingly, blood-stingingly, joyously resounding bells. By faith of this insanity, then for the love of God, permit me to remain insane.
The fuck?
That's how it's written.
No,
so if it sounded weird,
yeah.
sorry.
There was a little weird. There's some weird words. But I use a lot of weird words too, so that's fine. But what is mescaline?
It's mescaline's like, I think it's like
like.
Give me one second.
Because the psilocybin, that's mushrooms and LSD.
Mescaline is a naturally occurring psychedelic proacculate substituted. It's known for its hallucinogenic effects comparable to those of LSD and cytosine. So basically, it's a hallucinogen.
Yeah. Okay.
I just want to fix.
You can grow it.
I just want to fix what I said earlier because I kind of chopped up what he's. Sydney
It's
Gogley.
a cactus.
Damn it. Sydney Gogley.
The cactus is illegal to grow, import, and sell. Just so you know.
It was Sidney Gogley, who was the chief chemist of the CIA. He spent 10 years mixing drugs around and doing shit like that. That's what I was thinking of. It wasn't the 10 years. I was like, why did I hear 10 years? I had to go back to what dude was saying, and he was talking about the chief chemist. Took him 10 years to like do all that shit, all for nothing.
The last person I have to talk about is
Oh, dude, so it's peyote.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's okay. I know what peyote is. Yeah.
Oh, it's
Well, actually, I have two. I have two things.
So yeah, peyote is the plant, and the chemical in the plant that gets you high is mescaline. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's used by Native Americans.
You said it was like a cactus. I was like, that's why I said, is it peyote?
Or in all
I didn't know peyote was a cactus. I thought it was
in all West and in a lot of Western. In a lot of Western movies, Native Americans are always fucking with peyote.
That's why last night in the D&D thing, when Nate was like, "There's like a dried cactus in it," I was like, "I'd take a bite," because I thought it could have been peyote.
Dude, that's the fucking. Has anybody seen Fanboys?
Oh, I have.
Yeah, Danny Trejo, and they fucking take the peyote. That shit,
the chief.
That scene made me want to. Yeah, the chief. The chief likes to talk about himself in third person. Gets a little confusing with the bitches. Just hella fucking funny. But that was one of the things when I was younger. I was like, I want to try this shit. They just kept seeing whatever. That shit was so funny. He was like, "Is Ewok? He's humping your leg." He's humping your leg. And the guy's just smiling with his arms crossed, like looking at him while the Ewok's humping his leg. And then the dude dying of cancer fucking falls back, and it's just the Star Wars words going up. It's like, "You are very high right now." And it's from the song. But that movie made me want to try it. Yeah, it really was. It probably fucking slept on because I don't ever hear anybody talk about that movie.
I connect with Hutch because
that's Hutch is one who gets
Star Wars fan. It's like
and then when they get in the fucking fight with the fucking the Trekkies, the Star Trek people, he does the Wolverine thing. He's like, sink, come on, bub. They're like talking about it's like Han Solo's a bitch. It's like, would you say Admiral? Or no, he says to him, but he's just like, whatever. It's like something, and he's like, what's with the man purse? Like, because he's doing that thing with, he's like, it's like, yep.
Yeah.
Oh man,
shit. I love that movie.
It's like,
one of my favorites.
Dude. Name one fucking. Oh god, dude, that shit was a hella funny movie. But that movie made me want to try peyote when I was like fucking younger. When I watched that movie,
I want to try peyote. I've had mushrooms. I heard peyote is pretty fucking nice.
That's like you always see it in connection with like Native American stuff in movies. Yeah, with like Spirit Quest, Young Guns. That shit's hella funny. I'm pretty sure it's peyote they took. They're like hella fucking high after they're taking it. And one of them's just like shooting his guns, like, you see the size of that chicken? And he's just like shooting off into the air. And when they're they're riding the horses, and all the Native Americans are like staring at him, and it's like, whoa, whatever. It's like, they can't see us. We're in the spirit world, dumbass. They're just like riding through, and they're just like looking at him like, these dumbass fucking. The only one that's keeping his cool is fucking I forget the actor's name. I think in the movie he's part he's part Mexican, part Native American or something. I forget. He's in Double Dragons, I'm pretty sure, isn't he? I'm not sure.
I don't know. You got anything else, Casey?
Yeah, I got two more quick things, and then you can get into your Manson stuff. Ken Casey, the author of One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo Nest, he said he volunteered for MK Ultra experiments, and when he at the Veterans Administration Hospital in Molino Park while he was a student at a nearby Stanford University. Casey's experiments while under the influence of LSD inspired him to promote the drug outside of context of the MK Ultra experiments, which influenced the early development of the hippie culture.
Okay.
So it was right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the last thing I want to talk about is the Jim Jones theory.
Oh, shit.
And this theory states that the CIA employed Reverend Jim Jones to administer a pharmaceutical field test in mind control and ethnic weaponry to a large test group. And then they say that let me see.
That's who I talked about in the cult special that you guys did.
Yeah, I still haven't released that shit. I still got to edit it. I just haven't had time to.
Were you going to put that on the regular thing or on the... I felt like that was a really good episode. Are you putting it on Patreon or the regular thing?
I could put it on both.
You,
But,
you should put it on both. I'm
but
just saying,
they,
I think we did really well on that one.
yeah, they said that they cultured the AIDS virus to be tested and deployed in the CIA-backed experiment in Jonestown.
Jonestown.
What the fuck? So that goes like, you ever heard that like conspiracy or urban legend, whatever it is, that the government created AIDS to kill black people? Is that where that comes from?
Probably.
Like, because that was even said in fucking Forrest Gump.
Yeah, no, it's a very
So
it's like
The
a very
CIA
mainstream
shady.
fucking.
yeah, it is.
All right, take us into Charles Manson.
Okay, so this one's fucking wacky. So this is going off of a theory that was made by Tom O'Neill and Dan Peppenbring. But like, I don't know how much Dan Peppenbring attributed to it, because a lot of stuff I hear is from Tom O'Neill. But they wrote a book together called Chaos: Charles Manson, the CIA, and the Secret History of the 60s. That came out in 2019. And Tom O'Neill worked on this book for like over 20 years and hired private investigators, tons of stuff, and went through a bunch of fucking documents. Tons. I think over like 20,000, 15,000 documents, some shit like that. But he was working on this Manson theory for quite a while, because he didn't believe the theory that was the standing theory at the time, that was written about in the Helter Skelter book, which is that theory is that, Manson was just fucking crazy, and he thought he was hearing hidden messages in the Beatles albums that wanted him to, start bringing down society and the rich and stuff like that. And so that's what that all was about. But essentially, Manson was a kind of cult leader and of a bunch of hippies, and he convinced some of them to rob, vandalize, and then eventually kill Sharon Tate and her husband and friend, very popular actors at the time. And then Manson fucking went to jail for conspiracy to commit murder, because he was the one who ordered them to do it.
What do you think? I was gonna say, what do you think his beef was with those specific actors? Maybe just because they were popular at the time, so it's just kind of see if he can get away with it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It could have just been.
Maybe he used to beat his.
He knew where they lived. That could have just been it.
Actually, that could have been easy. Like to find someone big, get you like publicity, and then
yeah. Now, Tom O'Neill, the guy who wrote this book, he does not contest any of these charges. He does believe all this took place. He just is saying that the shit with Manson's a bit wacky, and he thinks that MK Ultra might have had something to do with it. Now, I'll just get in that real quick. Let me go to my notes.
It is crazy to think like all the stuff that's happened on U.S. soil, 9/11. What if they just MK Ultra those fucking pilots?
Yeah.
Like in any disaster, feel like, because it's this program is so fucking twined with so many other different conspiracies as well. It's just wild to think of. But you can go ahead and continue your Manson thing.
Yeah. So to start off, just a little bit. One of the main reasons he started looking into this, other than him not believing the Helter Skelter thing, was he wanted to figure out why Manson went from being essentially a slightly illiterate musician and criminal, to being this like cult leader who was influencing over like 40 people or dozens of people. I don't know. It's like I heard like 40 over 40, 30 to 40. I've heard a couple. So I'm just going to go with dozens of people. In like less than a year, he went from being this criminal to this cult leader. So that's where I'm going to start. But in 1967, Manson's San Francisco parole officer was Roger Smith, a criminology PhD, whose parolee responsibilities suddenly dropped from 40 clients to just one, being Manson. Weird. And then although Manson was repeatedly arrested, Smith never revoked his parole. And in mid-1968, after one arrest, he made the newspaper... He made the newspapers. Smith's supervisor tried to step in, but was overruled by the head office in Washington, D.C. Subsequently, Manson and his followers often visited Smith at the Hyatt Ashbury Free Medical Clinic, where Smith was running something called the Amphetamine Research Project, a study of the role of drugs played in psychotic violence. This clinic was possibly part of the Operation Midnight Climax. Also, there was Louis Joylan Jolly West, a former MK Ultra researcher who specialized in hypnosis and implanting false memories. This is the guy who was Jack Ruby's guy. When not in the office, West was running a laboratory disguised as a hippie crash pad for research funded by the Central Intelligence Agency. You're not gonna like, or hold on. Shit. I just skipped like 3 lines. Don't know why. Anyways. So, yeah. Hold on. I fucked up my notes.
I hate when I do that. Especially when you feel like you're on a roll and then you're just like, oh shit, where'd my place go? That's why I try to highlight when I'm going so I don't lose my spots.
Yeah. So I have just a little bit about Operation Midnight Climax. It was, but you already talked about that pretty much. But what I wanted to get to that was Dr. Sidney Gottlieb, which I said earlier. He had correspondence with Jolly West, so they were talking during this whole thing. So it's highly fucking likely that that Manson was a part of this because he was there with Jolly West. Now, the only problem that O'Neill has with proving this is the only thing he can prove was that Manson was at this clinic while this shit was going on. He can't prove whether the tests were done on him or what. But the weird thing is that Manson went from being just this musician criminal who was doing petty crimes like theft and shit to, you know, being this crazy motherfucker, cult leader, talk about wanting to you know, take down the rich and do all this shit. It, you know, it's just, and this happened within like
just out of character, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing, and so that's why this is weird. But like I've heard some other things too. This was just like the more stuff that he could prove is that he was there and stuff like that. But some of the stuff that I read, which can't be proved, is that it's thought that either, you know, Charles Manson was manipulated by the government into doing this to try to kill the hippie movement by saying that is dangerous, and that was a possible thing because he, you know, showed that hippies are not that they can be violent pretty much, and that's what that was. And I don't know if that actually worked, but it might have. The whole Manson family shit with killing the hippie movement. And another thing that I saw, which could be that he was there and witnessing some of these tests or had possibly been involved in a couple, but took inspiration from that to try to brainwash his own people, being the Manson family, because he could just convince them to fucking go murder 3 people, including a pregnant woman.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, Sharon Tate, right? That's the name. I always get it mixed up with Catherine Tate because they're both Tate. Yeah, Sharon Tate. But yeah, hold on, I'll read this real quick. So this is what happened with the Manson family. On August 8th, Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel, Linda Caspian, and Charles Tex Watson left the Manson commune at the Spawn Ranch, drove southeast 40 minutes, and murdered 5 people at the Benedict Canyon home of actress Sharon Tate. The word pig was written on the front door. On August 9th, that group, joined by 3 other members of the Manson family, went to Los Angeles Feliz, home of grocery owner Lino LaBianca and his wife, and killed them. The words "death to pigs" were written on the wall.
Damn.
So that's what the Manson family did. And I think it's fucking nuts that Manson was put, like, yes, conspired to commit murder, but he got harsher charges than some of the people that actually fucking killed them.
It's because he was the mastermind behind it.
Yeah, but when they take down a drug kingpin, Like if he's telling people to go kill people, they can't prove that he's the one that put the hit out. They
Yeah.
just assume that it was him, but that's all circumstantial. So that would be the same case for him. I mean, he's a piece of shit regardless.
I
but-
don't
Yeah,
think we have all the
it just
information on confessions and everything else because he's been on. I've listened.
Yeah,
to
motherfucker's
him
crazy.
saying- yeah, he says off the wall shit. Like I'm pretty sure he openly admits to doing the shit.
Yeah, but it makes
Like,
me think that
he
possibly.
he sounds like a person that likes to hear himself talk. Like
Oh, yeah,
I've
for
heard.
sure.
I mean, they probably pin shit on him because he just flat out admits shit. I don't know for a fact, but I mean, I just some of the fucking tapes that I've heard before, it just seems like he likes the attention. Like,
Yeah,
that's what it seems like.
but
With drug kingpins, they don't want to get caught. They don't want to be known. That's the thing.
yeah,
Like
it's just the way that he was handled in the legal system makes me think that they were trying to bury him. You know,
and that's possible too. But it's just
like if he did figure out how to do this, and like the CIA was like, "Damn it," he figured out what we were doing, and he was able to do it too. We got to make sure he seems insane and lock him away. Or the fact that he might have been, brainwashed him. He might have been brainwashed himself to do this, and so they're like, we got to discredit him and put him away. So if he does regain his memory and stuff, we have him there so that we don't have to go find him.
Yes.
That's me just speculating. But.
Yeah, it's fucking. I don't know. It's fucking.
I like, dude. So ever since I read about this, like probably like a year ago, just a little snippet, like just on a post, I was like, oh, I can't wait for MK Ultra. Because it's interesting. It's like it seems highly likely, and I like those type of conspiracies where it just makes sense.
I was telling Casey, I was like, why does that name sound so familiar? It's because one of my favorite rappers has a song called MK Ultra.
So,
yeah.
See, like
Man's was convicted.
The first time I heard of MK Ultra, I was like, MK Ultimate? Doesn't that one kind of suck? Oh no, that's MK Gold. MK Ultimate's fucking dope.
He was only convicted of first degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder for the deaths of 7 people. So he was arrested for conspiracy to commit murders of 7 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just I mean, I think they only really stuck him to one actual murder. The other ones were just in conspiracy. I don't know what charges are for charges are for shit like that. But they didn't necessarily pin him on the other murders. They got him for the one thing they could have got him for, which is his first degree murder. So I mean, that's a lot different than
who did he kill directly?
I have no idea. I'm just reading what he was convicted for because I was thinking about what Casey said about that. And because drug kingpins, they can't pin a single murder on them. They can only hold them for what they know they were doing. Selling drugs in an area or having drugs on them, like shit like that, but you can't stick any actual charges on them because they're quiet. Charles Manson has a loud mouth. He's not really a criminal mastermind in that department.
But
a criminal mastermind doesn't get caught, at least not right out the gate.
Like I said earlier, though, O'Neill does think that the MK Ultra experiments were part of the JFK assassination, were involved.
It could. I mean, and that's a crazy fucking thing. I mean, maybe.
In Nevada, if you are convicted of criminal conspiracy to commit murder, it's punishable by 2 to 10 years in prison and up to $5,000 in fines.
What about in California?
Where did he get
California?
Depending on the circumstances, the offense could be 25 to life.
Oh, well, there you go.
So if you want to conspiracy to commit murder, don't do it in California because you're fucked.
Yeah. Conspire in a different state.
Yeah, go to Nevada. You'll get 2 to 10.
I shouldn't have said he wasn't a criminal mastermind. He is. I'm just saying he's not smart enough not to get caught, is what I was getting at. Because, I mean, he is a criminal mastermind. He created a whole fucking cult, convinced them to kill people. That's a mastermind.
Well, he convinced some of them to kill people.
Yeah, that's true.
He didn't convince all of them. He convinced like 3 of them.
That's crazy. Just one state over, you get. I mean, rightfully so. If you're actually convicted of conspiracy to commit murder, fuck you. But
here's something though. Like, what if that's the case in California because of him?
Oh yeah, I'd have to look up the precedent for it.
Yeah. Like, dude, it's if you start looking at it, just like if this was a CIA thing, uh, like a test, or it just possibly got out of hand and they were just trying to bury it, like, why wouldn't they be like, okay, you need to give him life? You know, this for conspiracy. It's like, yeah,
Yeah, that's fucking. It's like giving me numbers to conspiracy criminal defense lawyers. I'm gonna be on a watch list. This guy's trying to.
yeah.
This guy's trying to commit a murder. No, dude, I'm waiting for the day, like if they ever are like spying on my search history, especially when I was trying to figure out the children being kidnapped and I was trying to call the FBI and shit.
Oh,
And they're like,
you were actually contacting the FBI.
yeah, they're gonna put me on a watch list, and they're like, why are you doing this? I'm like, I do a conspiracy podcast trying to be factual, you know. Why you work for this crooked ass government?
And then they'll just be like, "Oh, you're one of those."
Yeah, I'm a crazy. No, I 100% think that they're still doing mind altering tests,
Why
whether
not?
it's with LSD or not. I
Like,
mean,
even if they had a little bit of success, they
Yeah.
wouldn't stop. They wouldn't stop.
and I always
like, you
I
know
thought it
how-
was funny what Joseph was saying. Like it was like their whole thing was that they would be able to control the population if they dosed everybody with LSD, but it ended up turning around and fueling a generation of rebellion.
Yeah, you know how like you hear stuff about like false flags or like shootings. You're like, oh, it was a plant. You hear those conspiracies like today.
Yeah,
Like, what if that is just MK Ultra shit?
it would be. I mean, it'd be crazy, especially with our government. Everything's shrouded in secret, so we'll never have 100% truth or 100% transparency.
Well,
Has
not for
anybody-
like 30 years.
Well, yeah, and then even if they do, everything's redacted and they don't even fucking tell you
Yeah.
everything. And they only
Like-
release what they want you to release. Like the Kennedy assassination, like reports aren't going to be released for like I think it's like another like 20 years before they'll let those out. I don't know the
There's been
exact
some
date, but
stuff
it's
that
been
was
so long.
released, but like,
Yeah, but
yeah.
that's not full disclosure though. That's what we need. We need someone, but it's hard to do that because if anybody tries to full disclose anything,
I mean, look,
they get suicided.
Look at Snowden. He's still in Russia. Edward
Yeah.
Snowden.
Yeah, we should talk about that motherfucker too.
Yeah, we should, because that I don't see why he is. He's like, oh, he sold state secrets. I was like, he told the people, not another government, that they were being spied on. He's a hero. It's like, nope, he sold state secrets. He's like, no, selling state secrets, is selling it to another fucking country, which is what a lot of you politicians are doing. Motherfucker, hypocrites. It's crazy. We should do Snowden. I'll put that on one of mine.
Yeah, that's just I don't know. I think all
He
their
should be
little
fucking pardoned.
all their wackadoo fucking experiments that they do behind closed doors. And it's crazy because I know they're still doing some sketchy shit, but it's crazy how many. Well, I mean, it's not actually because I was gonna say it's crazy how many people they rope into doing these things, but it's not because it's like, oh, you're gonna be part of this project. You tell anybody about this project, I'm gonna kill you, and oh, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna kill your whole family and discredit your ass.
Yeah.
And make it look
it's
like
I'm
you
gonna
did
kill
it.
your whole family. You are gonna kill yourself. No, I'm not. It's like, yeah, you will. He sounds so certain. He goes, oh, I am. It's like,
So I don't put it past them at all.
yeah. But yeah, as far as the MK Ultra stuff goes, I do believe that the Manson thing, which is why I wanted to bring that one up. And I do believe that they're probably doing it today.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Even if they're not using just LSD, they're used or any
as far as,
psychotic
mind control.
Yeah, they don't have to be using psychoactive drugs, but they probably developed something. After all this time, they probably have some government hardcore drug that they.
Look at some of the things that people believe today. There's crazy shit.
I don't know. Shit's crazy. I don't really have like an opinion about it other than it happened for sure. It happened because
do you think
yeah.
they're still possibly doing mind control shit today?
I definitely think so. I think they're running a bunch of fucking different experiments and shit. I just think they're more quiet about it now.
Mm.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Mike. They're doing
Or
it under
maybe-
the behind the curtain, and I was like, oh, it's crazy how many people that they would have to have involved in this, but it's
Or
not
they could.
because they could just threaten their families, like, oh, if you say anything, I'll
Yeah.
kill your whole family.
Or they could because people volunteer for so many crazy things. They could have a bunch of people that are actual willing volunteers that are by contract fucking can't say anything about it, everything else, or shit like that. That's
Sound
a
like an
possibility
NDA.
too. Yeah, like that they have, something like that they have to sign. There's so many
See,
people
that's
willing to
fair.
volunteer for shit.
That's
I
fair if
can-
they're willing. I don't give a
Yeah.
fuck about that, but
I mean, they could be doing against people's will. I believe more that they're doing it to people overseas. You seen with the COVID vaccine shit? They were testing it on children in fucking third world countries and shit.
What do you think about the Manson theory?
That shit's pretty
Yeah, that's
fucking
pretty
crazy.
wild.
And I mean, that could be possible. Because again, like back then, I mean, things were a lot harder to fucking, So, I mean, they could have. And the stuff with Whitey Bulger and the fucking Jack Ruby shit. Oh, I'm fucking huge on anything with Jack Ruby. That
I
motherfucker.
know. When I saw that, I was like, oh, Joe's gonna be happy.
Yeah, I mean, I can for sure believe that, especially if the motherfucker came out fucking crazier sounding after he met with that guy. Because that whole thing, nothing in that thing adds up.
He had a psychotic break in jail, and he had it after talking to
After
this guy.
talking it, yeah.
Right after.
And before that, he was a fucking delinquent and fucking a lot of shit. Like, I mean, he ran a lot of stuff. He was a hustler. I don't want to say delinquent so much, but a hustler. The motherfucker was smart. He knew he knew what good business was, and he would do illegal shit and stuff. But yeah,